And we're on. Okay. Hello. This is Brendan. And today we're going to have a look at, this one completed illustration. It's not an illustration, more of a sketch. And also have a look at the new, the second, it's part 2 of 10 of the Greek mythological series that I'm doing. So it's the second one. And the first one was Geganese. You can see that in the previous video. And right now, this one is Charon. So I'll probably put that up on the screen there. And the Charon, or I think it's spelled C-H-A-R-O-N. It's like I don't know if it's Charon or Charon. Wikipedia was a little vague on that, but it's basically the guy who he has a boat and he takes people to Hades for the afterlife. It's kind of an interesting thing to read about. So you might have seen in movies and different things where if somebody died, they would lay a coin on their eye. Well, I mean, it would probably have to be some old movies by now, or maybe some traditional comic books and things like this. It's kind of a thing, and you say, why do people do that in old tradition? Well, this is why. They would put a coin either on the mouth or on the eyes, both eyes, of a person who just died, so that they could pay the Charon for the trip to Hades, which is the afterlife. And if you don't have the coin, then you would have to walk on the beaches for 100 years, somewhere around the seas. So it goes something like this. I guess, obviously Greece is sort of an island-like, a seaside type of territory, and maybe, I have to make some guesses here, they were also involved with sending their dead to sea, which is not uncommon in many old cultures, maybe even today. You put them on a boat and set them out and set them on fire. You might have seen that even in things like Game of Thrones. I'm trying to remember the last movie, but they do that. You can see that in a lot of ancient, medieval, and stuff, and before medieval, historical times. So anyway, that was the whole point. Why are they doing this? Because first of all, they're just, there's dead people, so what are you going to do? Oh, by the way, happy Halloween. And so, yeah, you got dead bodies. What are you going to do? Set them on fire, put them on a boat. So that's why is that? I don't know. But you make myths for it, probably for children, like Halloween. Again, Halloween. So that's why I decided to do this one. I have a list of 10 different things that I want to do for, for the series of 10 with the Greek mythology. And so I decided to do this one because, it's Halloween. And so that was appropriate. First, let's look at, I'm going to go put myself off screen here. I hope I, just gave you enough description of that. We're going to look at some more, too. I have some reference photos that we're going to use. Anyway, we'll see you right here. I'm still here. Don't go. But, yeah, I got you. I'm going to be in the background. And this is a recent, I've been itching to do this for a while. There's a really good illustrator. I'll look his name up. I forget. It's Stray Child, but the L, I think, is a 1 instead of an L, so it looks like Stray Child. And he's on DeviantArt. And he just makes these amazing cloud-like formations and oceans and stuff. And he does all kinds of stuff, but when he does those, every time, like, whoa, blew my mind. And so I basically kind of I was trying to copy his style, not to copy, but I was trying to do something that was, as like this, basically. And it came out pretty good for me, for what I wanted. The purposes I was looking for, because I'm trying to get that blended, mixed, twisting, turning kind of feeling, and his are a lot different than what I did. This is original, I used my own kind of style and stuff, but it was just when I looked at what he did, I was like, I think I could do something like that with the GIMP and the tools that I have here. And what I did, because in these videos, I'm trying to give some tips along the way too, to use the Smudge tool. And so this is, open another layer. This is just a flattened version of the illustration. But let's say we have some red there, and I don't know, something that goes a little bit better with red, like an orangey yellow kind of color, maybe kind of a fiery thing. And then go to, let me hover the mouse there for a second. Is it called, Smudge tool? Because, they name things different in GIMP sometimes. And then I go in here, and I can just it's like smudge it. It's like I'm putting my finger, and the icon is even the shape of the finger, and you just smudge it like that, right? So you can do it this way, you can do it that way, you can twist around, make like a yin yang. You can just smudge it basically, and do all kinds of weird, wacky stuff with that. The potential of this is limitless. I'm surprised that I actually forgot about it for a while. I didn't use that tool in a while. I don't know why, but it's very useful. And so that's mostly how I did this. I mixed a lot of colors and smudge for a couple hours. And when things don't look right, add some more color, smudge it around. And then you had to go in, I had to go in and do detail, right? So I added some splashing. I was trying to get a watery kind of effect, but also like a twister or a cloudy, like maybe the wind just picked up all the water and just started, twisting it around like this. So it's kind of abstract. I'm not sure if it would be abstract or surreal. I guess abstract is probably a better category. And so that was that. And the reason I'm talking about that now, it's supposed to be about the Charon, the afterlife guy and all that, is because I thought this will be useful when I go over to do the sketch, which I've just started the sketch. And so let me show you that here. And I had my notes all written down, with a lot of stuff that we want to do. But first let's see if we can make out a rough, if you can see, because it's very rough, right? So try and see over here, we have this guy, and there's his arm going back, and this arm going forward, and his head, obviously right here. I think it's not that rough. You can kind of make it out. So like there's his buttocks back there, and his knee goes up. So it kind of has like a flying, darting through the air kind of posture, and he's reaching out to get up over to this guy, which is a bit more sketchy. I'm going to try and clean him up a little bit. But there is a lot going on in here. So we clean him up a little bit right here. And with so this is the Charon, and he's the main course, the main dish, the subject of our little illustration here. So he should stand out. All right, I'm trying to get this color here. All right, okay. And as you can see, he looks kind of like stylish, strong, and stuff like that. I didn't want it to be just so old-fashioned and boring because, we're making a new illustration in modern times. So I thought, give him a little style, a little class. Over here, we're looking a little bit, what do they call it? Art Deco kind of style, and I'm probably going to work that out. I'm going to try and go for more of a, this is one of the reference photos while we're talking about that. This is Hercules, and obviously it's a statue, probably, marble or something like that, an ancient statue. I'm going to try and go for that kind of look. So, because it's supposed to be ancient, it's an ancient Greek theme, so ancient Greco theme, maybe. And so I thought, let's aim for that type of style. I also have some other like reference photos that will help me to bring out that kind of style while not, directly copying from them at all. But you see this one here was a good idea too, because the first sketch I did was very boring, and I think I still have that here. Yeah, so you can see here, here's his, excuse me, yeah, this here. His head is over here. I'll go back to the red. His head is over here. His beard comes down here, and he's got one arm out, give me some money, and the other arm here holding the pole. That's very boring. He's just standing there. And I looked at even these ancient, I don't know how old they are, but they look like ancient kind of paintings. This is Michelangelo, so it's definitely ancient. Even these are like exciting. And so here I am, year 2017. I'm going to draw some guy just standing there like, give me money. No way. We got to spice it up a little bit, right? So I came up with this, which I think is a major improvement. Let me go back a few steps. And so now you have a guy flying through the air saying, I'm going to get on that little boat there, and I'm determined. And this guy, is receiving the money. And in this situation, the boat is, just so you can make it out better, it's here. That's sort of your boat shape. So the water, the ocean would be down here. And, it's kind of on an angle. It's like rough waters, and, he's standing up there with his sea legs. And I was in the Navy myself. I know this might look crazy, but it's actually kind of realistic. If you're on a small boat and the waters are rough, you get these kind of sea legs where you're just ready to swing your body and change your weight around to hold your posture up however possible, or else you fall down. And so, he's got that kind of look to him. And I looked at the energy of this. We're talking about composition now. And you can see, I could feel like, some energy going around like this, and then that, and this. And those are just, those lines are just there, just sketched in, because that'll help to develop the energy and the flow and the feeling of the environment. So that's called composition. And I put some more on this layer. I was starting to split the layers. And over here in the background, you can see here's another head and a head, and her arm is making a gesture, also kind of like flying. So her body is just hanging limp here. And this guy, there'll be more here, more here. So I got more heads. So that'll fill the whole scene to represent, such as the other scenes do, where there's a lot of people and they're on their way to get onto this vessel here. So that's all that. That's a sketch, and towards the end here, I will probably go and do a time lapse, and I'll finish that sketch for you. I just want to show that I brought up a lot of reference here, so we can get a better idea of who is this Charon character. And this is Michelangelo. This one's really weird. I don't know what Michelangelo was doing there. Usually, you think of Michelangelo and you think of beautiful things, but this is like weird. He's got like pointy ears and his eyes are bugged out. Yeah. This one here is a little bit more on the idea, I think. And even these are like masterful, very famous old paintings and drawings and stuff, but I think even these, if you read the actual description, they don't really make the mark, because Hades, if you read well, it's not supposed to be just hell. Now, of course, people are naturally afraid of this place because they will die, but if you read carefully, there were nice places in Hades. Maybe not to say nice, but, well, yeah, just it didn't say anything about torture or anything. That it was just a peaceful, tranquil place if you were a good person in life. And if you weren't, then they had other divisions of where you would go to, to have torture and misery. And we all know what that's about. It's, be a good person. There's a reason to be moral and stuff like that for those who don't understand. And back here, we have a couple of what might be, I don't know when or where this painting was made. It could be like saints or something if it's Christian, but if it's or no, it wouldn't be Christian, would it? It would have closer to the Roman era, something like that. Because it also looks like almost angels back here. Yeah, and they look happy, and they're like with silk robes. It's a sign of luxury and fertility and stuff to have all of that clothing about them. These guys don't look so happy. So there was a division. Hades didn't just mean hell. And so again, going back to my sketch here, I didn't find it necessary to make it look something like this, for example, which is horrifying, except for this one here. And this also kind of justified what I read. Not everybody is going to hell. There's kind of a nice, some people are going to a nice place, and, well, as you can see, the other people maybe not so much. And but this guy just looks hellacious. I don't know why. That's just how he is, I guess. So I have all that stuff for reference. It's easier to just refer to that to remind me if I'm missing anything, because they obviously have all the elements here: the oar, the boat, and many people, and that type of thing. So that's a lot of rambling on. I'm going to go back and just one last photo here. This is just reference. I can't remember the name. Is it up here? Oh yeah, it's Laocoon and his sons, and it's just such a masterful sculpture, and to help remind me of some of the the anatomy that I can try to capture here. And I love the beards on these ancient Greco-Roman sculptures with that curly kind of hair and beard. I don't know. It looks like I don't know if the word's it's like curly, but also like kinky, like separated. Can't think of a polite word for it. You zoom in on this one, you see his hair is also has that waviness to it, and kind of like almost like it could be locks or something, like locks of hair. And so that's great as reference, I think, to if I were to apply some of that to here. Right now this guy looks kind of bald, but well, we'll see what happens. Maybe he will be. And then again here, you know, that they always do that, it seems, on these old statues. They had a lot of that look. There's probably a reason for it, because how can you make hair out of stone? But it just looks good too. Well, I think so anyway. And also it would, you know, it'd give more of that Roman, Greco-Roman kind of feeling. Actually, Greek is what we're going for. But anyway, that's that. So what I'm going to do now is go on a time lapse. So hope you enjoyed that. If I have anything to say, I don't think I will. I'm just going to finish this sketch, and when it's done, I'm going to paint it, and then I'll probably just show you in the next episode while also moving on to the next one. And so yeah, we'll just mix it around. It's more about getting these illustrations done, and the videos are just, you know, hitting some high points along the way. So in this video, we covered, like, you know, some of the composition tips I did here and how I set everything up, and this GIMP, the trick that I'm going to use here, using the Smudge tool, very useful, and how I used a lot of photo reference to help me to come around to this sketch here. And also, you notice in the sketch, there was one last thing I forgot to do. I used extremely exaggerated curves to make these. They're like posture, gesture drawings, you know, just like postures. And you see a lot of that in the ancient stuff here too. There's all these exaggerated kind of curves. It just feels better that way. It's kind of realistic at the same time. I would say, well, you know, it's Michelangelo right here, so it has to be very realistic, but just slightly exaggerated enough so that it makes it a bit more interesting than reality, right? That kind of feeling. The more I look at this, the weirder it is. Happy Halloween. And I'll do the time lapse real quick so you can see the final sketch of this, and you know, I'll let that display for a little bit, and we'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have like-minded friends who like this stuff, please share it with them, and make sure you get subscribed so you can get the next episode yourself, and hit the little bell so you get notified. If you don't like this, don't share, because yeah, we don't need more of those. But I hope that's useful for everyone, and we will have more tips. This time I didn't have as many tips, like drawing, painting tips and stuff. As this season goes on, this is a whole season. It's a 10-part season is what I'm calling it. And there's going to be a lot of tips and stuff on painting techniques. This time I just want to go over the composition in this one because, well, it was time for a video, number one, and also I thought this was a really good sketch. I'm happy about how it's coming along, so I thought I'd share that. And okay, so here goes a time lapse. See you soon. Don't forget to like. Have a good day. Happy Halloween. Goodbye.